Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, the man who prefers hot sauce to hot claws, Mr. Drew Celestino.
I mean, that's just good advice for life, really.
Hot claws.
Hot claws. Hot
claws.
Yes, this is still a thing.
Is it a thing, though?
I mean,
is it a thing?
Yeah, they're rolling with it until the next writer forgets all about it.
Hot claws.
We've been over this. We're beating the horse into pulp.
Yes. Here we are back again, sir. Let's get to it. Opening statements. How was your week?
Nice, good. We are rolling along on the kitchen. It is about 95% complete.
Looks spectacular.
Thank you. It will be when it's done. For now, it's still a matter of painting it and putting up some lighting that we prefer over the lighting that's in there now. It's good. It's good. I'm happy. We're nearing the end of all of this. Although my basement is still not done, so I better get down there and get on top of that because I need to get a new home base established sooner than later. So there's much more labor ahead of me.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I still have a rocking chair to sit in.
You do, but you're not going to in a few weeks. You know that.
I could just bring it downstairs when we record, right?
I don't see that happening.
It's not too much of a hassle. I'll take care of it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Take the rocking chair away from the nursing wife. See how that goes.
I'm going to do it while she's nursing. I'm not a monster.
You're going to pry that rocking chair from her cold, dead hands, sir. But anyway, that aside, pretty busy otherwise. So, had the big gathering on Saturday, the diaper party / barbecue of the season. New venue this year since this place was clearly not suitable for hosting just yet.
No.
So we had it at my aunt's place, which was great. Big pool. Kids had a blast in the pool at least, so that was cool. I took a little dip. It didn't seem like too many other people did, but hey, that's on you. I put it out there. But I think everyone had a great time. I know I certainly did. So we have, as you saw when you came into the house here, the cityscape of diapers on the table.
Yes, you've got like old Gotham City of diapers on your table.
Hey, I'm grateful. It's also a lot of diapers.
You're going to need them.
That's the word.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's pretty sweet. But then Saturday was kind of half recovery, half cleaning up after that. So took care of business, cleaned things up, and pretty much took her easy by and large. Spent most of the day just cleaning and mopping and getting things kind of in a sensible order around here. Caught up a little bit on the it's over, so yeah, I caught up on the end anyway of the G1 tournament over in New Japan World.
Yeah, who won?
Hiroshi Tanahashi won the G1, defeated Kota Ibushi in the final. Oh my. So Ibushi had to beat Kenny to make the final.
Okay.
They haven't faced each other in 10 years.
One of those guys is his tag team partner, right?
That is his tag team partner.
Okay, well, I'm not as versed.
And they have not faced each other in 10 years, and they feared that the next time they faced each other, they were afraid to face each other because they almost killed each other the first time, and they feel the need to top that performance. So this was the next time. No one died. Well, there were some great spots, but all things considered, it was I think they're saving some more insanity for whenever they inevitably meet again down the road. But it was a great match. Ibushi won, but then Ibushi ascended into the final where he met Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace to this day. They put on a fantastic match, great match with some really just awesome wrestling, great spots, great storytelling, and Tanahashi has now won his third G1. So now he gets to face the champion, whoever it may be, at Wrestle Kingdom in January.
Now, which one, from what I've seen, which one is Tanahashi again?
High Fly Flow, the long hair, plays air guitar.
Okay.
has a arm sleeve, usually because the rumors of his bicep being torn are always in the air. No one really knows if it's true or not, but we just roll with it.
This is sort of like the old Cowboy Bob Orton thing with the cast.
They don't make a thing of it, but I mean, if you read up, like the word is that he injured his biceps some time ago and just never really took time off or let it heal. So it's always a question if it's legit or not. Which, let's face it, in wrestling sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm all caught up on that. It's going to be fun. A lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipe for NJPW for sure. And that's really about it. Back at work, we got some cool news at work. My team now gets to dress cash at work, which I've been asking for like a year and a half since I started.
Like every day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Unless we have a client coming in which case we have to,
put on the
class
duds.
up the joint a little bit. But that's okay.
Yeah.
To let me know, and we can make that happen. There's no I'm not public facing. There's no reason I have to put on a monkey suit every day to go to work.
I get you.
So I don't get to wear a lab coat or anything, but I could, and I could just claim it's my style.
I will tell you, sir, it's an overrated experience.
But it's so sciencey.
It is, but I've no business wearing it. I really don't.
See,
I feel weird in it constantly.
I think you need just to embrace it. You got to go into character mode. Like you are Dr. Duty now.
You get in trouble for doing that.
No one's going to call you on it. You're wearing a lab coat. They'll believe you.
All I need is a stethoscope.
Exactly.
That's as good as a medical degree.
Right.
I'll just be like Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd and Spies Like Us.
Get a vanity plate on your car, and you're like Kramer from Seinfeld. Like people will buy it.
All right, well, we'll see how this works.
Yeah. So how about you? What's going on?
This is kind of it's an all right week. We had game night Friday night. It was predominantly
Dice Forge.
Yes, me, you, and Alan. We played Dice Forge again, and then Alan and I, when Jen jumped a little bit later, played the game Overcooked 2 on the Switch, which was a lot of fun. And I might go about picking up a copy myself because I think the wife would really enjoy it.
Heard great things about it. I did have to make the mango salsa, so I couldn't partake. But it's very collaborative, is it not?
Yes. You need, like, the first couple stages, you can kind of go do your own thing and just make sure stuff gets done. Once the stages start advancing, you really need to be organized, just like any professional kitchen would be. Like, person A does this, person B does that, so on and so forth. So maybe next game night and whatnot, we can get Alan to bring it. We can break it out again. And
I will warn you, I'm not good at these collaborative games. Ask the wife; she'll tell you that we don't collaborate in games well. It's too competitive.
But in this,
snipper clips almost caused a screaming fight. So
yeah, but with this game, if you don't collaborate, nobody wins.
That's fine. Same thing with snipper clips. Eventually, you just start getting mad at each other for holding the other one back.
Okay, all right.
They say there's no I in team, but that's a lie. Because I'm on the team.
But yeah, we played Dice Forge again. I really like that game.
Yeah, it's good.
But you and I have the same complaint about the game. We wish it was just like 1 or 2 rounds longer.
You could house rule it and make it that way.
Yeah, because once you get your dice really good, the game's over.
To be fair, now that I know what the pieces kind of do, you definitely acquire more power, which gives you more strategy early. The first time I played it, it was kind of a feeling out.
This looks good, I'll grab this.
Right. This time I went in with, I knew what I wanted, I knew exactly what I was going for, and I was making it happen.
Yep.
So that, the familiarity definitely makes those turns count more.
Cool. I actually picked up a new game over the weekend at Target, of all places, a choose-your-own-adventure game. It's literally like, if you remember the old books, the box looks like one of the old books, obviously just bigger. It's got all the fonts and everything, and it's basically just like a collaborative choose-your-own-adventure game. Julie saw it on the shelf at Target, and she really, she loved those books as a kid, and so we picked it up, and as soon as we get around to playing it, I'll let you know how it is.
All right. When's Encyclopedia Brown going to get a game?
I'm going to say, you know what? I'm not going to say never, because the way the rate board games come out and whatnot, it's sooner or later.
Would they have to change his name now to Wikipedia Brown? To keep him current with the kids.
Yeah. Internet Brown.
Yeah.
Google Brown.
Something like that.
Call him GB.
I like Wikipedia Brown.
Yeah.
But Wikipedia might, get Sue happy.
So Saturday we had 2 parties to attend to. We had your function, which was our second function, and then we had my friend Jim's daughter's. Her birth name is Rhea,
okay,
but I just call her Ray, and that's all I'm ever going to call her because Ray.
Sure.
Her second birthday party, so we hit that up first. Had a good time. Then we made our way over to your party. We brought the guacamole and the Texas caviar. And then Sunday was just, I think it was just kind of chill. Sunday night, I ended up playing some games with my friend Adam. He brought over this older game called Spirium. It's kind of like a worker placement steampunk, not like fully steampunk aesthetic, but kind of. It was cool. I think he'd dig it. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, that nothing much for Monday. That brings us to today.
Yeah, here we are.
And dear listeners, as always, if you would like to tell us about your week, send us any questions or comments to the show, you can do so at the following locations. You can find us on Twitter. Follow us at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/DevilsDoPod and like our page. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. And Drew, we do have some questions.
I would hope so.
So, starting off with Mr. Brendan Budnick, one of our younger listeners, says, "Hi, Carl and Drew. A couple episodes ago on your Ant-Man and Wasp episode, Carl, you mentioned that time travel is always bad. I would like to bring up the point of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Please explain how that went poorly for them."
Well, did you see Bogus Journey? They died.
They did end up dying, which didn't end up so much bad for him because they got to meet the Grim Reaper. He turned out to be a pretty cool dude.
And a mean bass player, evidently.
Yes. Okay, if you look at Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from a time travel perspective, that movie should not work.
No.
In essence, reality, as soon as they come back to the modern day with the historical figures, reality should either be drastically altered or just collapse in on itself.
Well, keep in mind, they do return everyone to their regular times.
With knowledge of each other and present day.
Maybe they swore an oath to never talk about
Doesn't matter.
You're applying
time travel is like, you've heard the old adage, time travel is like dropping a pebble in a lake. Yeah. The ripples come out. Trying to fix it is like saying you're trying to put the ripples back in where they originated from. It's never going to happen.
You're applying logic and reason to an illogical situation.
I'm just answering the listener's question, man.
It's just a movie. Let it go.
I know. Listen, it was the question that was sent in. I'm just answering it. That the time travel in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is flawed.
There's no truth in this art.
I'm just saying.
I would say the time travel in any movie is flawed.
As soon as...
yeah. By that logic,
there was like
movie,
there. Oh God, what was one movie? There was one movie that did it right, and they showed that it was bad.
It's Back to the Future 2.
No, but no. I'm just answering Brendan's question. But yeah, the second Bill and Ted returned the historical characters to their times, when they returned back to modern day, their world should have been drastically altered. Given the significance of the characters that they took out of history and how they changed their perspectives and gave them knowledge of the future, it should have either caused reality to collapse on itself or they would not know the future they returned to.
I have a counterpoint.
Okay.
Since time travel is impossible, none of us really know what it would actually do if we did it. So for you to say that it's impossible and reality will collapse in on itself, we don't know that. We just guess that.
I know that. I know it for a fact.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. I wear a lab coat to work.
Now you're getting it.
It all comes full circle. All right, Brendan, thank you very much for your question. We appreciate it.
Embrace the gimmick.
Yes. Now on to the. It's gonna be a little tier, but timely. Now on to the Heart Foundation of the.
Oh, come on now! They're both alive. Our listeners, that is.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, like, sir, are you not current on events?
I think I'm pretty current.
There's only one left. Mr. J. Gelsomino, Mr. Alan Waiters, starting with Mr. Alan Waiters. Carl and Drew. Chris Hemsworth has credited the reboot Ghostbusters for his improved improv and comedic performance in Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War. Do you agree? I haven't seen the reboot of Ghostbusters, so I can't answer those questions.
I haven't seen it. I have no interest in it, but given what I know about it, yeah, the director just basically turned on the camera and wasted a whole bunch of time and made everyone improv for like hours instead of, reading a script.
Making a coherent...
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say for certain again because I haven't seen the film.
Yeah, but that's okay. Neither
but I
anyone
also
else.
haven't seen anything that makes me want to see the film.
Exactly. I mean, whatever. Chris Hemsworth is a talented guy. So
at the same time, I haven't seen anything that makes me not want to see the film either.
Oh, I have.
I mean, it's just it's out there, it exists, and that's...
I've seen enough little clips that made me go like, oh, okay, no, we're good. We're good here. We're all good here.
All right. Carl, retro gaming has made a huge comeback. Do you think that lower cost to produce retro games is the cause of its comeback, or do you think older gamers like us missed it for nostalgia? I think it's kind of a little bit of both. Retro style games, yes, are cheaper to produce, but also, as we've mentioned in the past on the show, trends tend to be generational. So you've got a generation of people in position now making decisions in big companies who are from the generation that grew up with those things. Like when we were kids growing up in the 80s, all like the nostalgia was about the 50s.
Right.
Because
it's like a 20, 30 year cycle, basically.
All the people who were making the decisions in those industries grew up as kids in the 50s. So I think it's a combination of it's cheap to produce, which doesn't necessarily, I say cheap in that it's monetarily cheap. A lot of retro games are very high quality games. And those making the decisions, those wanting to make them, grew up with the originals, so they kind of want to revisit that.
I'd also say that I don't think that retro games are necessarily more popular now. I think they've been popular all along.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. We've had the retro gaming
over the last decade or so. It's been a thing.
Yeah,
very much so. Any Metroidvania game that goes on Kickstarter pretty much it blows away its goal within like a day.
Yeah,
you show me 16-bit graphics, I'm probably throwing money at it. So I'm not the only one.
I always do enjoy though, like the 8-bit plus or the 16-bit plus.
Yeah.
But they just put the little bit of polish on it you couldn't the first time around. All right, Drew, how old were you when you first played The Legend of Zelda? And how does Breath of the Wild fit into the Zelda timeline?
Okay, let me. All right, so we'll address these points in order. I was 5 or 6 years old when I first played The Legend of Zelda. It was one of the first games I played for NES, but in fact, I actually played Zelda 2 first. Because when it came out, the year it came out, a friend of mine was very much into the game already, like the Zelda franchise. Him and his father had played the first one. And when Zelda 2 came out, 2 was brand new, and he showed it to me, and then I got that one first. And then after the fact, I got Zelda 1. So that's my little Zelda history there. Breath of the Wild, where does it fit in the timeline? I mean,
Isn't
it's
it
pretty
the
obvious to
distant
say
future?
that it's at the end or in the distant future of the timeline. But the other thing that I'll say is just don't concern yourself with the Zelda timeline because Nintendo doesn't. Just let it go. It's a legend. It's the same story told over and over again. Differences or commonalities, and just it's a legend.
I'm going to tell you a fun little Legend of Zelda story that you're probably going to hate and it's probably going to annoy you. A friend of mine lived down the street, got Legend of Zelda, and I went down to his house, check it out, and he's playing it, and it's the classic, sitting on the bedroom floor in front of the small CRT TV, and he's playing it, and obviously you got the theme playing and everything. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I saw this little guy running around shooting these energy blasts out of his sword. I was like, this is so awesome. It's kind of like He-Man, but instead of turning scared cats into battle beasts, you're just blowing stuff up.
Kinda.
And then Link got hit and couldn't shoot energy blasts out of the sword, and then I lost interest.
Yeah, it's pretty weak of you. It's very weak of you, actually.
I was like, wait, where'd the energy blast go?
It's a perk of full health, which, means you have to stay good at the game to keep the good stuff.
No, I know that now, but I was a fickle child, as we've
we know.
discussed.
Yeah, we know.
Hey, but I played Zelda 2.
Okay.
Still to this date, the only Zelda game I've played.
Fair enough.
As he says, as he grits his teeth.
You're lost, man.
On to Mr. Gelsomino. Carl and Drew, I'm not sure if I've ever asked this one before, but what would you put up as some of the worst comics you've ever read?
Oh, wow. Worst comics I've ever read. Well, I did survive the birth of Image Comics.
Yeah.
A lot of crap was produced.
So much crap.
So yeah, a lot of the Liefeld books are just god awful. I've reread some of them recently just to see were they as bad as my memory yes they are. They are bad. But I mean, books I guess that were supposed to be good that I actually found to be terrible. Let's see. All-Star Batman and Robin for sure. Yep. That was bad.
Yep.
Throw that in the trash heap. Let's see. It was a very... No, I shouldn't say it was bad. More underwhelming. That Superman arc after Hush, Jim Lee's next assignment was Superman.
Jim Lee's Superman arc? Yeah.
That For Tomorrow arc of Brian Azzarello?
Yeah.
It was probably fine.
It started good.
But the hype around it was so big that I read it and was just this kind of stinks.
I mean, it's Jim Lee. And so it's kind of... It's
he didn't write it, though. That's what I mean.
One of the problems with being Jim Lee is anything you do has to be immaculately good or else it's considered bad because you're Jim Lee.
Let's see. There's bound to be some Marvel stuff that I just found to be god awful. Oh yeah. Andy Diggle's run on Daredevil. That stunk.
Remender's Cap.
Yeah. See, I blocked that out.
So bad.
That was pretty terrible. And seeing as he's also responsible for Frankencastle, we can just put Rick Remender. Oh yeah. Also his Avengers run. Astonishing Avengers. Was that it? The one where Red Skull took Charles Xavier's brain?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick, buddy, get out.
He's clearly terrible with stuff that he didn't create.
That people say that his creator-owned stuff is good. I wouldn't know because I ain't touching it. Because based on my limited Marvel experience with him, you sir can you go peddle your wares elsewhere. I want nothing to do with you. I think that's a decent summation of books that I've hated. Very little has. I bail out early, so if it's bad, I know enough to kind of get out of it, and then I forget about it. So
yeah. For me, Spider-Man Clone Saga.
Oh, obviously
bad. All-Star Batman and Robin probably takes the title because when you look at it on paper, it should have been fantastic.
Yeah,
it should have been. You've got Frank Miller, the writer who redefined Batman, whose interpretation of Batman is still considered what Batman is to this day. And then you've got Jim Lee, who's probably one of the best artists, in comics history. And you're teaming them up on a Batman title. And just from page one.
Yeah, it stunk.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you keep reading and be like, it's going to get good. It's going to get good.
Yeah, no.
It didn't. It did not.
No, and they're giving Frank Miller a Superman book.
I will always believe Frank can come back.
Okay.
I will never not give Frank Miller a chance.
Good on you.
Shut up.
Good on you.
But yeah, Clone Saga and also Clone Saga didn't start out bad, but it got bad.
I think the pivotal moment. I'm only speaking from memory, but I think the pivotal moment was when, not so much that there was a clone Spider-Man. It's when they told you that he was the real Spider-Man all along. And then they backed off of that, but there was that moment where it was like, everything you know is wrong.
You were like the signs were kind of happening before that, but that was like the left turn that threw everything off.
That reminds me. Oh yeah, that Spider-Man Rain book.
Oh yeah.
That was where they tried to Dark Knight Returns Spider-Man.
Oh, that was
bad.
Oh,
that was very bad.
That was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Drew. The Long Cold Dark has had a conflict of interest, and everyone has gone their separate ways. Who do you rebuild the Long Cold Dark with, living or dead, from the history of music?
Oh God, that's not even fair. Like, I don't belong in the company of any musical giants that I would name. So, I would, if anything, I would rebuild it just by myself. Me, myself, and I.
That's not a band that you gonna clone yourself. It's gonna be the Drew Clone Saga.
I'll do everything myself in studio, and then I'll hire guys to play it live.
It'll be Trent Reznor.
Yep, basically.
Okay.
It's got a good thing going. I'm not gonna lie. When I write when I do stuff myself, it tends to be like very constructive. Let's put it that way.
And that's as humble as Drew will ever be about himself.
I mean, I like playing with other people. They definitely add, flavor and can take things in directions that, you wouldn't otherwise think to go. But I definitely like being in the driver's seat of things. So it is what it is.
Alrighty. Carl. Someone has had the audacity to recut the scene in Jaws: The Revenge when Michael Brody's submarine is attacked. They added CGI shark in lieu of our favorite lion-voiced shark. What movie that used practical effects do you feel will help a movie with current CGI? So just crappy-looking CGI things due to era movie that was made don't count. All right. So I think he's asking here what film that's got like really crappy effects do I think would benefit from practical effects? Justice League.
Wow.
Justice League.
I mean, you're not wrong.
A real upper lip. A stiff upper lip. Trying to think what else. I think most of the stuff that I would probably reference is going back to when CG was really starting to become a thing. And like everybody was doing it, but few people did it right. The Jurassic Parks were few and far between, and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were far too frequent. So yeah, anything like mid to late 90s, early 2000s, before they kind of got a handle on the CG.
Okay.
So yeah, that's probably where I'd go. But yeah, Justice League. Yeah. All right, Jay, thank you very much for your questions, and thank you again, Alan and Brendan. That closes the cross-examination and brings us to the case files. And, folks, it's been a light week, so we don't have a ton to talk about. Starting off, Drew, did you A, know they were making a Star Trek 4? Did you B, know that they had yet to sign Chris Pine to said Star Trek 4? And did you C, know that apparently Chris Helmsworth was going to be involved in it too?
Okay, so I heard about that before, that they wanted to get Hemsworth back.
And the moral of the story here, folks, is you can't shortchange these guys now. They're big stars.
Yeah.
And the film has lost both of them.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing about that. So, Chris Hemsworth was kind of birthed onto Hollywood by the first Star Trek reboot.
Yes.
He played Kirk's father for all of 90 seconds before he died.
Yeah.
So, if they're like, we can't do Star Trek 4 without him, I would posit the question, well, you did 2 and 3 without him, so what are we clinging to here? Why do we got to bring him back?
But those didn't have time travel.
Then this one doesn't need it either then. Rewrite your script. I mean,
Yep.
Try. And then maybe
try.
And then whatever you were planning on paying him, just give it to Chris Pine to come back as Kirk. That's all.
That should be the title of this episode. Try.
Sold. Done. Yeah. I didn't actually see the third one. Into Darkness really Into Darkness pretty much killed my desire to see any more of these newfangled Trek movies.
I didn't hate Into Darkness.
Oh, I did.
It just felt much more like a Star Wars film than a Star Trek film.
The evil Federation and the big evil Federation, even with Peter Weller at the helm. And I love my Peter Weller, but this is just not what Star Trek's all about. And all the action and Spock is beating a guy in the face. It's Khan, and there was all that subterfuge that it wasn't really Khan, but it was Khan. But when they were filming the movie, it's like, give me a break. We know what it is. Don't insult my intelligence. And then it turns out it is Khan, except I don't know, the fan service at the end where swerve, bro, Kirk dies this time. It's like, oh my God, get out of here with this. Just what are you doing? So yeah, that basically killed my desire to see anymore. So now the third one, didn't see it, and the fourth one, they're not going to do it. Fine. Honestly, between what they're doing
they haven't said they're not doing it. They've simply said that Chris Pine and Chris Helmsworth are not going to be in it.
So you don't have Kirk? Have a nice day. Goodbye. Sorry, rest of cast. What's the point?
Yeah. I get, okay, you don't get Helmsworth, fine. That's something you could just adjust. You don't get Chris Pine, who...
He's the star of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to him for having the stones to hold out, because I would argue that he doesn't not need this franchise more than Chris Helmsworth. Chris Helmsworth does not need this franchise at all.
No, Helmsworth, no.
Chris Pine...
Pine works, dude. He's in a lot of stuff.
Pine's great. Don't get me wrong. Pine is great. But,
he doesn't need it. He's in so many movies.
Okay.
He's doing Wonder Woman 2. He's going to get banged from that. Don't know how he's alive in that either, by the way. We'll see how that plays out. But spoilers, he died in the first one. But in any case, he gets work. He doesn't need to be stuck on the Star Trek thing. You know what? Put Star Trek as a film franchise to bed. You know why? Because all they're going to do is they're going to do what they're tempted to do. Action it up and make it stupid for the masses. That's not Star Trek. Star Trek is morality plays, little morality tales, and interesting stories that you can tell with character-based stuff, slow burn with a little action here and there.
Yep.
That's Star Trek. So make 5 Star Trek shows or whatever on your little streaming service, and make them for the people who care, and make them of a good, well-written quality. And that's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be action movie, space action flick part 37, The Trekkening.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. Minus the Abrams verse.
Yeah.
How many Star Trek films are there?
Well, there was 6 with the original cast.
And then
4 with the Next Generation cast.
Okay. So you had one really great movie. One legitimately good Khan.
Wrath of Khan, yes.
Khan is a legitimately
that is
good,
a legitimately great
one.
Others,
and then you've got a huge gap distance from one to the others that you would consider good, which aren't a lot.
Search for Spock is good. Voyage Home is good, even though it's vastly different. It's still a good little movie. Voyage Home is terrible. Undiscovered Country is very good.
Undiscovered Country is good. I think you meant Final Frontier is terrible.
Yeah,
you just said you said Voyage Home is terrible.
Yeah. Voyage Home is fantastic. Final Frontier is terrible. And then the Next Generation movies, honestly, they're all pretty much bad. Even the one with the Borg that everyone likes, it's not a good movie. And here's why. It contradicts so much character stuff from the show that I have a hard time watching it. The characters are acting irrationally out of character from their characters on the show.
I like what they did with Picard in that movie, but
he was already over the Borg, though. If you watched the show, you would know that. So when he was all angry and ragified in the movie, it was just like, what was this guy? What happened to my Picard and the tea once again, they felt the need to action it up.
Yeah.
For the sake of the movie.
But yeah, it's tough because you want to see a Star Trek film in the spirit of what Star Trek is, but that doesn't make money.
Then don't do it.
No, I know.
Then don't do it.
I know.
Or make them, but make them the way I said to make them, and don't spend as much.
It's hard not to spend a lot on sci-fi film.
Well, can't help you there.
No, I know. The don't do Star Trek films is a valid conversation, which, given what they're wanting to do with Star Trek on the CBS app, is a very possible route they could go. You can make films for the app that don't have the, stakes attached to them that a theatrical release does.
This is actually... you said stakes, and that's a good word. This actually we could delve into a bigger topic, which I don't think is the time right now. But do small movies even exist anymore?
Yes, but they're harder to find.
That's what I mean. Everything that comes out now, it's got to be the biggest, craziest. It's like an arms race of insanity with these movies, no matter what they are, especially genre movies.
No, definitely, yeah. Genre movies, yes. But do you think you kind of feel that way because we're we're getting to the post-summer movie season? It's just been a whole summer of things that explode.
No, this has been escalating for years. I've said this it's been going on, and it will continue to go on. More stuff's going to blow up, and it's more craziness on screen, and more Michael Bay, and this. No one wants to see guys just, talking about life and issues and things that matter and character studies and things like that. No, we can't have that in a movie.
I think you can make a direct correlation between where society is and what is, for lack of a better term, popular in theaters. Given what reality is right now, the world we're living in, the country we're living in, who's running the country, people want escapism more. When you look back to previous administrations and how things were earlier, when more, the big indie explosion, which kind of Pulp Fiction kind of helped kick off and things like that, there wasn't as much societal strife going on at those times. Not saying there wasn't any. I'm just saying we have so much crap from reality, air finger quotes reality, thrown in our face 24/7 that I think people are more. They want escapism more. They want fantasy more, which is why I think the higher stakes films seem more prevalent. It's not that, again, it's not that small
disagree.
films.
I disagree. I think people are just dumb.
No, people aren't dumb.
People are very dumb. People are very dumb.
That's an easy, lazy answer.
It's not
people
lazy.
are
It's
not
a fact.
dumb.
It's people are very stupid, and they want dumb stuff to blow up, and it's been going on for 15, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't agree with any of that.
No, you have more faith in humanity than I do.
I do.
Yeah, you'll learn.
No, I hope I never do, because then I wouldn't want to pass that on.
Yeah.
That's I would never want that outlook on people as a whole.
You're blaming current events and administrations. Who put them there?
Listen,
Here we are.
I'm not saying people are perfect, but I'm not going to chalk in the entirety whole of humanity up and say they're dumb and
cool.
want stupid things. That's
We're cool.
But the
rest
lazy.
No, so are they mentally. So,
but yeah, I think the prospect of Star Trek films on CBS streaming app holds a brighter future for the franchise than theatrical releases.
I agree, and seeing as like I said last week, or maybe week before, they want to have new Trek on this app all the time. Okay, good. Focus on that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the movies.
And that world's big enough to where it's got a lot of different avenues.
Totally.
You can explore. It's like the one thing I like about Star Trek, that Star Trek has always done better than Star Wars. That Star Wars, people who watch it now are kind of having a hard time getting accustomed to, is, the crew of the Enterprise is not the sun that the world of Star Trek revolves around. They are a small part of a larger world.
Yeah.
And whereas Star Wars fans are having a hard time adjusting to the fact that the Skywalker family is not the sun that the Star Wars world revolves around.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. I want to see Cisco come back. Long and short of it, we're bringing Picard back. That's great. I got my Earl Grey ready to go. Bring me back my Cisco punched Q once, just cause.
It could happen. If you can convince James Avery, who's kind of a nut bar, to do it.
Yeah, man, I've seen some interviews with him. Those are great.
He's a character, that guy.
Yeah, did you ever see that documentary that Shatner did, The Captains? Yeah,
Shatner asks him a question,
guy.
and he just looks at him and starts playing piano like it's an answer.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like,
okay,
this dude's great. Love this dude. Okay, so moving on to something that much more centric to you than it is to me.
Uh-oh.
We got our first look this week at Doom Eternal gameplay.
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
I'm just going to let you go, sir. What'd you think?
What can I say? Just inject it into my veins. I need it, and I need it now. Doom is a beloved game by me. I love the originals, and they are the reason why first-person shooters became such a prevalent genre in the 90s. And it's developed, then Doom kind of went away as the genre evolved and went into different directions. So when it came back strong. Like I'm still in awe of how excellent the Doom reboot was a couple years ago. And Doom Eternal is its sequel, and like Doom 2 before it in the 90s, Doom Eternal is like hell on earth. So
I kind of want it to be called Doom Road Trip.
It's not a road trip.
We're finally leaving Mars. We're coming to Earth.
Well, they came to Earth, like I said, they came to Earth in Doom 2, so they're doing it again, except this time, like, it's, with all the power and horsepower that modern computing can avail you. So it looks bananas crazy. More weapons, more enemies, more accessories, which I'm excited about. So, like, you have like a shoulder-mounted flamethrower now.
Yeah.
You've got gauntlet weapons for more melee, and a grappling hook, which I'm excited about.
I wanted to ask you about that, because in the gameplay, that was the one thing I kind of bumped up against, only because it's, I don't want to say trope, but it's become very overused in a lot of first-person shooters. The whole, like, grappling to, like, either wall run and jump or, scale.
What
things.
game did that first? Was it
Titanfall?
Titanfall. Right. And
Titanfall did it, and then a whole bunch of the Call of Duty games adopted it. I think maybe one or two of the Halo games adopted it. And now it just seems like I was kind of hoping Doom would be better than that.
Doom is better than that. Don't worry. It will be better than that. It and Bethesda are going to make it. If it's just like, hey, we made the first game again with bigger levels and crazier stuff, and here we sprinkled in some new toys for you. Okay, fine. So you're telling me it's the same? Yes. But you added more? Yes. Okay. I'm okay with this.
You have a lightsaber broadsword.
Yeah. I mean, you had the chainsaw and the chainsaw more, specifically in the first one, which was like, you had to get gas cans for it. It wasn't like in the original game where you could just like use it as a melee weapon infinitely. In remake, you had to have gas for it, and if you had enough gas, the bigger the enemy, the more gas it would take. But it was basically a one-hit kill weapon. But you could only use it for as much as you had, and gas cans were hard to find. So I'm willing to bet that lightsaber broadsword is kind of the same thing, if I had to guess.
So now they also announced that we will in fact get one for the Switch.
Yeah.
Are you getting both?
I'm probably going to double dip on this because it's Doom, and I love it that much. But if I had to pick one, I would probably opt for the Switch version, actually.
That's disappointing, but yet not surprising.
Number one, want to support the Switch. Number two, Doom on the first one on Switch is a marvel of technology. And I played through it, and honestly, if you're not a texture snob or whatever, like you're not looking at the screen, counting pixels and things like that, it plays just like the PlayStation version. I mean, there were some hiccups later on when there's more enemies on screen. You do get a little frame rate hit, but I thought it played basically identically to the PlayStation version, to the point where I was clearing certain challenges faster than I cleared them on the PlayStation version. So,
is the Switch version the same street date?
That's the question. I don't know. If it is, awesome. I don't know if it is, but
because if it is the same street date, which would indicate that they were developed together at the same time,
could be
this game Switch version may be even closer to the console version than the previous one was.
Well, I mean, the previous one was very close to the console version. In fact, because they had all that extra time, the studio that does that conversion, I want to say they're called, it's going to kill me now. It's not Playdead.
Is it Dead Play?
No. Panic Button okay. Software. These guys are like the Switch conversion masters. They've done a bunch of games now that they've converted from PlayStation to Switch, and with each one they do, they learn more and more about how the Switch operates, and they have figured out a lot of creative ways to make it run. And unless you're really, really savvy, you won't pick up on what it's doing to make it indistinguishable from the PlayStation version. So, like, I guess from what I heard, because I didn't play the Switch version because I was bored by the PlayStation version, Wolfenstein 2, they did that conversion as well, and apparently that was even better than the Doom conversion. And again, I thought the Doom conversion was great. So those guys seem to have...
You didn't get Wolfenstein 2 for Switch, did you?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I just couldn't, because I remember you not being too thrilled with Wolfenstein.
I got it for PlayStation because it was available first on PlayStation. Yeah. And then it came later to the Switch. And my point was that the same guys did that conversion, and the reviews all stated, like, this thing runs even better than the Doom conversion. So these guys clearly know, they're getting better with the architecture. They know how to port stuff. Cool. And the Doom engine, if it's like the first Doom engine, is very, very scalable, and I think they'll do a great job. So, that said, I'll probably double dip anyway. It's Doom, man. I don't care.
Listen, man, you're talking to a guy who's bought I don't know how many versions of Street Fighter.
There you
so
go.
You're not. You have no reason to be shy about buying multiple versions of the same game.
We're living in a glorious era where Doom is back, and it's awesome. So I'm just gonna.
Did they announce a street date?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Street window?
Couldn't tell you.
All right.
Whenever it comes out,
okay,
I'll be there. That's what's important here.
Okay, last news story of the week. As we know, the Disney purchase of Fox is going through, and it's going to be a thing. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Disney said that they are going to release all of Fox's finished films.
Define finished.
Well, I think there's probably a certain percentage of post-production that has to be. You at least got to be in the can.
Okay.
As far as principal photography goes. This will probably include X-Men, whatever. Dark Phoenix. New Mutants, I'm not sure like where they are in production. So
I know they delayed it, but they delayed both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, it makes sense for Disney to release them. It's essentially free money for Disney.
Unless they have seen unless they have seen the current state of them and to think,
Yeah, but they didn't pay anything to make them.
No, but it could.
So even if the movie bombs at the box office, it's still,
bombing at the box office.
If X-Men makes $20 million at the box office, that's $20 million Disney gets that they didn't have to pay out to make.
Yeah, but if it kills interest in the franchise, you've done harm to the franchise, which could bite them later when they decide to make their own.
You think that a terrible X-Men film, coming out, without the Marvel Studios logo on it, without being introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, would hurt a future X-Men?
Depends how soon. If they want to get the X-Men rolling back on track soon, I say don't let Phoenix out. Sit on it. Don't let it out. You do yours and trumpet it as being yours when it's released.
All right.
Don't release an inferior product into the market and just don't do it. Do not do it. It's going to do harm, and you don't want that.
Well, seeing as they'd have to go a long way to beat Last Stand. that's kind of like that's the gold standard of crappy X-Men.
It is.
Films
No, it
right
absolutely
there.
is. But I feel like Apocalypse kind of
threw
some water on the whole thing too.
It was not worse than Last Stand.
Maybe not. But see,
Apocalypse wasn't bad. It was just
it just happened.
It was room temperature. It was there. Like, okay.
White rice.
Yep.
On bread.
But I like white rice.
So do I, but put some gravy on there or something.
It had like some little moments here and there, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't Last Stand. Last Stand Stand was horrible.
Wolverine Origins.
What's worse? I've still got to give it to Last Stand.
Okay.
Because as bad as Wolverine Origins is, you still have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and Liev Schreiber was a really good Sabretooth.
Things you never thought you'd say in your life.
Yeah, at this point, there's not much of that. I don't think I'd ever say. Yeah, Last Stand.
Okay. All right. Well,
yeah.
I think they should, if they're not confident that it's going to be really, really, really strong, then just don't bother. If you're taking this franchise over and Kevin Feige can tell me 10 times all day that I haven't thought that far down the road yet.
Yeah. Pull the other one, Kevin.
He's got 10 scripts in a drawer right now for when this day was going to come.
Mr. President, we've got 4 plans here for you to choose.
He knows exactly what he's going to do.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
So, yeah, if you're, I don't know. I think, they have nothing invested, so it's not going to cost them anything.
Yeah.
But they also have nothing invested, so who cares?
Yeah.
They could say, hey, this was your mess. We don't care.
I mean, if they're planning to reestablish Fantastic Four first and then bring in X-Men later, then I would say go ahead and release Dark Phoenix.
And they may. Or they might figure we're losing all the principals probably next year. We're not totally sure who's going to carry in the Avengers franchise into the next era. Maybe we should have the X-Men at the ready. Pull that trigger.
You know what? Since we do probably have a shorter episode this week, I do want to ask one thing. So Infinity War comes out on disc today.
Yeah. Here I am not getting it. I haven't get out there.
I haven't gotten it either. I still yet to watch my Black Panther disc. I'm a bad fan. Let me ask you this. Beyond Infinity War, with the way media is kind of going, and with we got the Disney streaming service coming out, everything's gonna be available on that. Do you really see yourself buying the physical discs kind of beyond Infinity War?
Yeah, I'm a collector. It's in my blood.
Okay.
I can't help it.
I was thinking about that on the way over. I was like, I loved Ant-Man and Wasp. Do I really need to own Ant-Man and Wasp?
I love a lot of my favorite. I buy.
Because it's not say you can't go back and buy it.
No. But I mean, I love comics, and I don't love all of my comics, but I still have all my comics. I can't part with them. I have a hard time parting with them. I'm a collector, man.
You gotta learn how to part with some of those, man, because it makes moving stuff around real easy.
Oh, I dream of the day when I can parse and just here, go away. I think there's going to be a big purge happening sooner than later.
You've been singing that song for a little bit of a while.
Time is short, man. But the heart is willing, but the effort it takes is like, okay, I got to go up there in inventory, then I got to go on eBay, and I got to probably do a completed items search, figure out the going rate, take pictures, upload pictures, hope it sells. If it does, pack it well, go to the post office.
See, if you're just trying to purge stuff to make space, then just purge stuff.
No. You're going to give me fair market value for my purging. That's how I purge.
I think you and I both know as comic book collectors, you never get fair market value for your books.
I need something. Something.
Show me some love.
Give me, something.
Yeah.
I can't just give them away.
All right. I think that's all the news we have, unless you've got something.
Remember how I think we discussed who gets to play RoboCop in the new movie?
Yeah.
Neil Blomkamp was asked on Twitter who he would like to play RoboCop in the new movie.
Who did he say?
He said Peter Weller. And based on the concept art that for his unmade Alien movie, I'm convinced that Neil Blomkamp doesn't know how old the leads of those movies are now. I think he thinks it's 1992 and not 2018.
Yeah, they could de-age you.
They can.
Like you said, it's just a mouth.
Yes. Maybe they do. You know what I hope they don't do?
What?
And I'm worried that they will do?
What?
Fully CGI RoboCop suit.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, though. Like,
they're going to be tempted by watching, Infinity War and how they do it with Iron Man and Spider-Man.
No, I get that.
And I want to see a guy in a suit.
The one thing that the reboot got right, with the exception of Michael Keaton, Michael Keaton's always right, is the mobility of RoboCop.
Okay.
Because I have a hard time believing tanky RoboCop in a modern film.
Really?
It's not that I have a hard time believing it. I'm not finding it I'm not saying if he's tanky RoboCop, I'm not going to watch it because we both know it's a dirty, rotten, filthy lie of the devil. But it's like it worked back then. I'm not sure how much it would work now.
I think it would still work. I mean, I don't see walking bipedal robots now.
I mean,
I've seen those Boston Dynamics four-legged dog ones running around. They're kind of scary. But
so this is what I'm going to be running away from in 30 years.
Yeah. But I mean, then I see their bipedal one, and he has to walk very slowly and deliberately. All the motions are very deliberate to pick things up, and so machines are at a certain level, and it depends where what era this movie is taking place in.
Yeah, I mean, find a nice middle ground between tanky and reboot.
Okay, I'm fair with that. I mean,
yeah,
a
little bit of an upgrade.
It's just so iconic, though, man. The walk,
I know
and the
it's
sound,
I know. I'm just saying,
if they do the story where it's
guns are bigger now.
Yeah.
So
if they do the story,
I'm going to have a hard time believing he can repel any type of armament.
He couldn't before.
We never saw him get hit with the Cobra gun.
in 2. I mean, it wasn't a Cobra gun, but the cannon on RoboCop 2 that shot him messed him up pretty fiercely. Dented the crap out of him.
As you said, it wasn't a Cobra gun.
Well,
the Cobra gun blew up at 209.
It did.
Left nothing but chicken legs.
It just depends. If it's 30 years after the originals, then yeah, I would assume in that world technology would have come along. So
I just got a funny image in my head. A mama ATST and a daddy ATST with little baby Ed 209.
Aw, put that on a T-shirt.
All right, Drew, it's time to do something we haven't. It feels like a long time since we've done it, but it's time to rustle the papers.
It has been a while.
You're not rustling.
I'm rustling in my head. I'm going through my files.
All right.
There was no time or space for notes today, so it's all, I watched the episode, but it's all up here. You're gonna have to walk me through.
Okay, folks, we're finally getting back to Jessica Jones. We're on episode 5. I thought we're
back.
I thought we were at least on 7.
No, so did I, but no, we're not.
I saw 5. I was like, oh crap.
It's gonna be a while. On the plus side, I feel like
I know what the poll said. The show's going to go through a change in the foreseeable future.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. On the plus side, I feel like the show, the Jessica Jones, has taken a slight upturn.
Yes. Now, have you finished the season?
No,
you haven't.
No, I'm
so
live, baby.
Oh, you're live. Okay, all right. So then,
week to week, it's real reaction and emotion.
Yeah. All right. So episode 5, I didn't write down the title. I believe it's called The Octopus.
Yes.
Okay.
That much I know.
Yes. So we find it opens up with Jessica in a cell, and Jessica does not do good in enclosed areas.
No, but this cell clearly is a little bit stronger than a normal one, right?
Yeah, and she puts that to the test by punching it. Getting back into this now and just thinking of this episode as a whole, we see Jessica go through a little bit of changes this episode.
I think all the characters are kind of going through changes.
Yeah,
in this episode.
signals kind of like a shift in Jessica because her crap kind of gets put on Front Street to her by Hogarth.
Yep, and she's in a bind, and she has to kind of.
She's
forced to change her ways a little bit.
Yeah, she's forced to rely on others.
Yes,
which is like the one thing she hates doing.
Right.
If she had her way, she probably would just be self-reliant, not have anyone in her life at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see kind of that change from Jessica. We see Malcolm becoming much more assertive.
Yep.
And really growing into his role as a, air quotes, associate of Alias Investigations. We see an interesting turn from Trish.
We do.
Not necessarily a good
one good, one not so good.
Yeah. We find out that what's his name? Not Malcolm. Ian? No.
Trish's
guy?
Trish's guy. I forgot his name, but Griffin?
Griffin. Yes, thanks. Gryffindor! We see that his snooping in earlier episodes was to set up an elaborate proposal.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Let me ask you, how do you feel about public proposals?
That's how I did mine.
That's how I did mine, too.
Here's the thing. I was very confident in a yes.
Yeah, I was, too.
I feel like Griffin here, he kind of little presumptuous.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little presumptuous on that.
And I'm sorry, but Trisha's mom and Jessica's adopted mom, she is a cancer.
Yes, I find that
cancer in both their lives.
I hate her a lot.
Yes,
like as much as I have ever hated a TV character.
Yeah,
I really dislike her.
It just every time she shows up,
That's okay because in this episode, Trish finally had enough of that and gives her a slap.
Gives her a good old fashioned Batman to Robin slap across the face.
And in that moment, I was just like, good, finally. Stop taking this woman's crap. She has ruined her life, or at least tried to many times over. And Trish asserts herself over her mother and slaps her in the face. Hey, good. But it seems that Trish, who has addiction problems in the past,
has found a new drug.
Yeah, she's down with the new cuffer thing.
One that won't sting or bite.
Whatever it's called. The thing
that
Nuke was huffing.
I was thinking of the Huey Lewis and the News song. I want a new drug.
Ah.
I don't remember any of the rest of
it. But you got that part down. So that's not good.
Well, Trish, I think I don't think she wants to feel superior to anyone, but I think she wants to feel on equal ground.
Yes.
And the one mountaintop that she can never get on equal ground with is Jess, because Jess has powers.
Well, that, and also, like she says to her mother before she whaps her in the face, she turns down Griffin's proposal.
Yeah.
Not publicly, of course, privately after the fact. And she tells her mother she doesn't want Griffin per se. She wants to be him. She wants his job. She wants to be seen as a legit journalist. So, yeah, and then so she has inadequacy feelings about her profession, and like you just said, she feels inferior or inadequate next to Jess, physically.
Yeah.
So her relying on this drug now kind of puts her on a level with Jess anyway.
Yeah, and I think, like, the more and more I think of it, the description of Trish's mother as a cancer in her life is very apt, because, like, when you think about cancer, you can treat it and it can go into remission, but it's never like 100% gone.
Right.
So it can always come back.
Sure.
So hopefully now Trish's mother is going into remission. And
I got a feeling she'll be back in a really bad way.
We get more in depth on the antagonist of this.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the doctor that Jessica remembers waking up to in the hospital.
Yes, he looks
kind of like Michael Parks, but not really.
Yeah, he gets introduced towards the end of the episode. I was referring more to the piano smasher.
Her.
Yes.
Drew,
hey, quick parenting tip.
Yes.
When you have your child and they are teething, it's going to suck.
Yeah,
I'm not lying to you. It's going to suck. You're going to find things to kind of soothe the kid. You're going to find what works. You're going to find what doesn't. Baby Tylenol is a wonderful invention. One thing I would not recommend is taking your child over to a random stranger's house because the child likes the sound of the piano.
Yeah.
And then letting said stranger hold the child.
Yeah.
You're going to have to establish those boundaries with people. Who gets holding rights and who doesn't.
Speaking of presumptuous, that woman was very presumptuous. Like, oh, my kid likes your music. Can we come in? It's like, lady, I don't know you. Get out of my house.
Yeah, it's just like...
Then take your baby with you.
You don't know this person. You're taking your baby over there.
Not to mention, she kind of has the crazy eyes.
A little bit.
And the crazy, I haven't really brushed this hair in 4 to 7 months look about her. So maybe bringing your infant over there is a bad idea. Maybe.
Yeah. Wasn't crazy about that. But you see...
And then she's playing the piano. She's like, sure, I'll play the piano for your kid. Okay, how nice. But then the kid starts screaming and crying, and, like, the woman visibly is getting annoyed. Like, okay, your kid's bothering me. I'm trying to play piano, but the kid's getting... And so she starts playing the piano louder, and the mother's sitting there like, what's wrong? What's the matter? What, like, is everything okay? It's like, look, lady, your kid is loud and obnoxious. Do the math. I'm playing louder because I don't want to hear your kid. Maybe take your kid and leave.
Yeah. That I wasn't crazy about that.
It was a bit I'm not even a parent yet, and even I know, like, this is not smart.
There's common social sense.
This is not good.
Stranger danger. Mom, stranger danger.
Yeah. And that piano got tore up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a piano smash like that since the Nine Inch Nails Woodstock 94 performance.
Was it a piano of the same make and model?
No, there were keyboards, but they were equally smashed and destroyed.
Okay. Let's see here. What else we got? I mean, I like this episode. It
was good. Okay, so meanwhile we've got, what's her name? Inez?
Yes.
Okay.
The witness.
The witness. So we're going to dump her off on Hogarth, right? Knowing what we know about Hogarth, is it wrong of me to like have serious questions about her motivations for taking in this young girl?
Well, those motivations become clear at the end.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because
right now they're a little like creepy.
I think at this point, if Mephisto showed up on her front door and said, I can cure you, there's no price Hogarth would not pay.
Sure. But have we established that Inez can be cured? Is she like some kind of healer or something?
Well, remember because, it's been a while since been a while.
Yeah, you got to refresh me here.
Yeah. She had like severe injuries, like,
okay.
big shards of glass through her back and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, all I remember is Hogarth and prostitutes. So taking in this young girl that's vulnerable makes me kind of feel like you're going to do something really inappropriate to this poor girl.
Well, right now she wants the information.
Okay,
from
well,
IGH.
All right. Well, I hope that's
again.
the case.
Hogarth does not intersect with Jess a lot this season.
Well, she has a couple times so far.
She has a couple times, but like especially when you compare it to last season, Hogarth is kind of on her own story.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
it's
I
a
get
good
that.
story. So, I'm trying to just looking at my notes.
Jess traces through some subterfuge, and going to posing as Clarice Starling,
Yes.
interviewing that guy in the cell,
David.
She finds the doctor, and he's not alone at the aquarium, by the way. So clearly, whoever made Aquaman, they saw this episode. I want an aquarium scene
With an octopus.
with an octopus, and I want a scene where the glass cracks. I've seen this episode of Jessica Jones, and I want this in my trailer. Okay, James Wan, you can have it. Anyway, so she traces him to the aquarium, and he's there, and then crazy hair lady who smashes piano shows up.
Crazy hair piano smasher.
Right.
That's her in-ring persona.
As we are calling her. Not Aunt Jackie, in other words. And they start, like, making out, and it's weird.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of nuts.
Well, nuts can be attractive sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, stay away from the crazy chicks, man. That's life advice. And Jess gets made.
Yes.
And crazy piano
Chaos
smasher.
ensues.
So, Netflix clearly cheaped out here. She punches the glass. We get the CGI crack in the aquarium glass.
Yeah, that was...
Cut to black, then we hear it. Really? We couldn't spend a minute just have like a wall. I don't need to see much. Just a scene of the water exploding out of the glass.
Nobody wants to see fish die. Nemo and Dory were
They
in
can
there.
be
We don't wanna
CGI
see
fish.
that.
It's okay.
No, yeah. I mean, I didn't bump up against
We're
that at
spending
all, but
some money
yeah,
on this show, right?
That's fine. Yeah, I think
That's
that's...
it. That's kind of. Jess also kind of, like you said, she starts to rely on other people, and she also gets to. I think in the moment when she shows up to the engagement party that she wasn't necessarily invited to, by the way.
Yeah.
Rather than put her need for Trish at the forefront of that, she lets Trish have that moment for herself.
She recognizes that whereas there is a place for her in Trish's life, there's not necessarily a place for her in that current environment.
Or at the very least, that this time is not the most critical time to take care of whatever you need. She'll get back to you.
Yep.
That's growth for Jess.
That is.
So,
for this character, any growth is...
is growth.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're moving along.
Yeah. It's if I remember correctly, business picks up for a couple episodes.
Well, all right then.
All right. So that does it. That was like, what, 10 minutes of the show?
Hey, we're sticking the format. That's all that matters.
All right, folks, we appreciate you joining us again this week. If you would like to send us any questions, comments to be read on the show, communicate with us in any way, you can do so with the following. You can go to Twitter and follow us at Facebook or at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/Devils Do Pod and give our page a like. You can email us at thedevilsdupod@gmail.com, or you can find all of these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdupodcast.com. That being said, Drew, any closing thoughts?
Go watch the Doom Eternal gameplay footage. Trust me.
much boom, much blood.
Yes.
And lightsaber broadsword.
And an awesome Mick Gordon soundtrack. That soundtrack, though.
Alrighty, folks. We will talk to you next week. Court is adjourned.